Okay, so drugs. Why do people take drugs? People take drugs all history.
Makes you feel good.
Makes them feel good, makes them feel better. It's called an altered state. Sometimes it helps you do different things. How many of you take drugs?
Wait. Medicine?
Likely all of you.
Oh, yeah.
Well, medicine's a drug.
Yeah,
alcohol's
that's
a
what I
drug.
do.
Tobacco's a drug.
Mhm.
Soda's a drug. On top of illegal street drugs, everything's a drug. Okay. Likely all of you. I'd be surprised if there's anybody who really didn't. So we develop these patterns to help us feel better. The interesting thing about drugs is I personally don't believe you ever get addicted to a drug that you're not already low in. So you have to pay attention to this. So, for example, anybody know what drug we use to treat ADHD?
Adderall.
Which is a
Stimulant.
stimulant.
Oh.
Hardcore stimulant.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you take that.
Okay, why does it seem counterintuitive that you would take a stimulant if you're ADHD?
Because it's going to do with the difference. It's going to
Okay.
slow you down rather than amp you up.
How does that make any sense?
How does
You
that-
would think, because people with ADHD like over here, over here, over here. They don't
Well,
see it.
right, so
Why
they're
would you
counter-
ever give this person a stimulant?
Because it's going. I don't know.
Left brain.
Here,
right brain.
cancel it out.
Oh, see, this is why you want to understand the brain. Okay, so the reason why that person's moving all the time is movement gives you small amounts of epinephrine. So anytime you move or you change subjects or you engage in something else, you develop small amounts of epinephrine. People with ADHD have exceptionally low amounts of epinephrine. So first of all, they're very hard to wake up usually.
Yeah.
They're dead to the world. There's two speeds for someone with ADHD. It's called asleep or awake. A million miles an hour, dead.
Yep.
That's the only two speeds. Because your brain's not making enough epinephrine. Epinephrine keeps you
Awake.
awake. Okay, so why are you doing all this movement?
To keep yourself awake.
Keep yourself awake. So when people look at people that shit, like, you need to try, you need to pay attention. Ironically, I'm trying. In fact, the more behavior I do that you think shows that I'm not paying attention, the
We
more
are
I am
paying attention.
paying attention to you.
Yeah.
So we go sit still.
That's me.
The minute you sit still,
You're like.
I'm gonna fall asleep. I need something to do.
you're either gonna fall asleep.
Or just be distracted.
Right. If I'm doing something, that's
Yeah.
a surefire way to know that I'm paying attention to. If I'm
And-
looking at you, I'm not.
Yeah, that's totally me.
Okay, because they constantly need to be moving.
Cause like I have to draw, I would draw when I would,
Yep.
that's how they would know I was paying attention.
I take Sharpies class, and I would draw all through graduate school.
Uh-huh.
I finally went to graduate school, teachers said this is what I'm gonna do. Well, they were pretty cool. They're like, okay. They don't let you do K through 12. Probably would have done better. So, or like Micah. Micah can be talking about 3 different things and running all over the room. And I'll go, Micah, what did I say? He could recite what I just said for the last 60 seconds. But how many people made him sit still and made him sit at a white table and do nothing?
And recite exactly what you wanted him to.
Well, he won't be able to.
Exactly.
Okay, so you give that person a stimulant. Epinephrine. What happens to them?
Slows them down.
Why? It doesn't exactly slow them down.
I was on it. It's.
Don't have to move to create.
They're no longer having to be all chaotic to create artificial epinephrine.
Right.
So because they have enough, they don't need to be over here, over here, over here, over here to pay attention. They can
I
pay
like it.
attention. Well, and a lot of people don't because there is a lot to be said for this. There's a lot of gift that comes in being all over the place. People who are ADHD tend to be incredibly creative. They don't understand boxes. Like,
No.
do I even understand a box of what I should do?
No.
Mm-mm.
It doesn't exist. That's part of the ADHD thing, right?
Right.
I think of things that people don't think of. So there's a lot of advantages to it. Depends on what you're doing for a living, or it depends on what you're doing in daily life. If you're paying attention in school, it can be challenging. I didn't start taking medication until I became a therapist, and I got my first therapy session, or first couple, and all of a sudden I looked at that person, and I realized it's being ADHD is like having someone else have a remote control and you being a TV, and they're changing the channel all the time. That's what it feels like. So I was looking at that person who's been talking to me for the last 3 minutes, and I had to go, I'm sorry, what did you just say? And there was no getting around that, other than medication. I probably should have chosen a different job. So you will become addicted to substances that you're already low in. So I think you only become addicted to substances that you're low in. And I started thinking about this with Sid. Now Sid's a generation, she's the hippie generation. A little bit old, she's really young hippies, but she's a hippie. Okay, so one day we were just dating. We just started dating like, a year into dating. And we were on this date, and we were going to planetarium, I think. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, now I'm a 80s Barbara Bush, Dare, Just Say No to Drugs kind of person. Drugs are bad, they're gonna kill you, they're lurking around every corner. Those of us who are in the 80s realize, you know, or been through the Dare program, it's all bad, 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 which by the way doesn't work. So I'm like all Dare, like, she turns around and looks at me like, just out of the blue and goes, man, I loved LSD. I went, what? I'm sorry, what? I was a therapist at the time. She goes, LSD, it was awesome. I go, how'd you stop? Do you see the premise of the question? Oh, she must be addicted to it. She goes, I couldn't afford it anymore. But that was a whole new worldview for me, because, you know, Dare, Just Say No to Drugs. I was stuck. Okay. Is she addicted to it? No. There's something that apparently was fun. It's fun around the world. By the way, don't do it now. At least then you can trust what was in it. The problem with drugs isn't the drug itself, it's what's in it. So she didn't become addicted to it because she wasn't deficient in that. Okay, so if you look at people who have anxiety disorders, for example, anybody know what drugs people with anxiety disorders often become addicted to?
Opiates?
Possibly opiates, usually alcohol. Sometimes pot. The thing about pot is not chemically addictive. It's not chemically addictive. Does that mean it's addictive? Not addictive? It's behaviorally addictive. It is not chemically addictive. Well, someone who's got anxiety is going to be very interested in pot or alcohol. Why?
Stimulant.
You don't want stimulants.
No.
And anxiety disorder, what's the thing they're not going to want? They're going to hate.
Stimulant.
They're not going to give someone with anxiety disorder Adderall. It's not good at all. The last thing they want is stimulants because they're already stimulated. They want depressants. The problem is they're already lower in that naturally, so they're self-medicating. So what is the one, if I were to take illegal drugs, what is the one illegal drug I should never, ever, ever, ever take?
X or
Cocaine,
cocaine.
crack, or meth?
Yeah.
Why are all three of those drugs going to be inherently, could be dangerous for someone with ADHD?
Because it's going to create an anxiety.
Well, here's the thing. What am I already deficient in?
Epinephrine.
What does crack pretend to be?
Epinephrine.
What's the probability? Is the probability higher to be addicted to that thing?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Because I'm already low in it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yep.
By the way, I have zero use for alcohol. I just don't even understand it. Occasionally when I'm super upset, I'll drink like one beer, but I just don't even get it. Like, why would you ever want to be drunk? I'm confused enough.
You ask my mom.
So why am I not at all interested in alcohol? No, it does. It makes me confused. I'm confused enough. Is that going to be a drug someone with ADHD is necessarily going to be?
A
No.
depressant.
Yeah, they don't want a depressant. Unless they have anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just like, I don't get it. That's one drug. Any kind of depressant, I don't even understand. So here's the deal. Suppose you have depression, anxiety, ADHD, bipolar, and you get addicted to a substance. Or you have chronic pain. Painkillers are the number one addiction. You have chronic pain, you get addicted to that substance. We get you off the substance. What's the problem?
Relapse.
No? We can't treat you for your original problem. Because the treatment for your original problem is the substance you're addicted to. So there's no treatment for ADHD if you become addicted to a stimulant. There's Strattera, but Strattera really doesn't work. Right? You're SOL. They're going to take me off concerted like that if I become addicted to a stimulant.
Yeah.
So then you can't treat it. If you're in chronic pain, you become addicted to painkillers,
You can't take
you
it.
get aspirin. So now we're making this even more complicated with how the brain works, is that we can't even treat you for the things that you do have.